Hi, this is Scott Dawson, and the title of my presentation is Can Do's and Won't Do's, Virtually No Certainties. Advances in technology make it possible to do business virtually. As the Executive Vice President of Human Relations at QBOBCATS Industries, I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about our Code of Conduct and Integrity Policy for doing business in a virtual world. When I use the term virtual world, I'm referring to a world based in virtual reality. Encyclopedia Britannica Online states that virtual reality is the use of computer modeling and simulation that enables a person to interact with an artificial three-dimensional visual or other sensory environment. One of the more popular online virtual reality sites is Second Life. You may now be asking yourself, how is virtual reality useful to business? Second Life founder Philip Rosedale states that 200,000 people use Second Life each day. Out of the 200,000 people who use Second Life each day, 15 to 20% of those people use Second Life for business. Cisco, IBM, and Intel corporations have used Second Life for meetings, interviews, training, and guest speaker events. Besides these routine business practices, you might be asking, is there money to be made? Yes. When you look at the Second Life revenue stats, it is hard to ignore the possibilities. In Second Life's 10-year history, 36 million accounts have been created. There have been 2.1 million user-created virtual goods for sale, 1.2 million daily transactions for virtual goods, and $3.2 billion of total transactions for virtual goods within the Second Life economy. The most purchased item on Second Life, can you guess? Women's hairstyles. QBOBCATS Industries is gearing up to do business within the Second Life virtual reality platform and plans implementation in 3 phases. Phase 1 implementation will include meetings and training. Phase 2 implementation will include holding an interactive media conference with presenters and attendees from around the globe. And Phase 3 will involve Second Life sales of a QBOBCATS Industry Interactive Media Resource Guide. What impact will this have? Well, for customers, it gives them an effective, time-saving alternative to interface with our employees. For stockholders, it cuts considerably down on overhead costs like transportation, video and teleconferencing technologies, and conference space reservation, while opening up possible revenue streams. For the public at large, it markets QBOBCATS Industries as a company committed to leveraging modern technology for innovation. Because of this move to the virtual domain for some of our business activities and processes, it is important for us to set some guidelines and reinforce ethical boundaries for doing business in a virtual world. At this point, you may be saying, why do we need a code of conduct? It's just virtual reality, it's not real. But you have to remember that you aren't just representing yourself. You are representing QBOBCATS Industries. For the creation of this code of conduct for QBOBCATS Industries, we examined the existing community standards of Second Life and the Code of Ethics model featured on the U.S. Department of Transportation website. We will be discussing the following items that make up the QBOBCATS Industries Code of Conduct and Integrity Policy for Virtual Business: non-discrimination, boundaries, communication, behavior, attire, and purchasing. When we use the term avatar, we are referring to your virtual persona that will be representing you on Second Life. The first item on the Code of Conduct is non-discrimination. The virtual work environment should be free of discrimination, harassment, intimidation, or coercion related to race, color, religion, sex, age, national origin, disability, or sexual orientation. QBOBCATS Industries promotes an environment of mutual respect that will extend to the virtual realm. Boundaries. A separate avatar should be created using your QBOBCATS Industries email for the purposes of work and should not be used after work shifts. This ensures that your actions in the virtual world during business hours are kept separate from your actions with any personal account that you may use online or on Second Life. Communication. Inappropriate language, sound clips, animation, and images are prohibited. You are to avoid acting anonymously during work hours. Your avatar should be clearly identified with your name and work email address. This will help ensure that all management and employees are held accountable for their virtual actions in Second Life. Behavior. Inappropriate avatar behavior or avatar manipulation will not be tolerated. Avatars are restricted to mainland areas and should not enter or participate in regions designated as adult or in the adult continent of Zindra. Attire. Avatars should wear appropriate business casual or semi-formal attire without logos or text, unless the logos and text are representative of QBOBCATS Industries. Remember, it is important to maintain appearances because you aren't just representing yourself, you are representing QBOBCATS Industries. Purchasing. Purchasing in Second Life is done through Linden Dollars. All necessary online purchasing through the use of Linden Dollars will need approval from the QBOBCATS Industries accounting office. Any earned Linden Dollars should also be reported to the accounting office. Monitoring of these purchases through the accounting office is necessary to make sure that we are reporting virtual purchases and acquisitions properly to the Internal Revenue Service. This is critical to avoiding legal implications. In May of 2013, the U.S. Government Accountability Office released a report encouraging the Internal Revenue Service to inform taxpayers of the tax liabilities of using virtual currency such as Linden Dollars. If you have additional concerns about how you should conduct yourself on Second Life as a representative of QBOBCATS Industries, consider the following. First, make sure you're conducting yourself how you would in a normal office setting. Second, consult Second Life's community standards online. And third, consult QBOBCATS Industries' Human Relations Office. I want to finish by covering some final considerations in regard to QBOBCATS Industries' Code of Conduct and Integrity Policy for Virtual Business. The board, all administrators, and employees are subject to this code. QBOBCATS Industries' Human Relations Office is responsible for the management and enforcement of this code. Employees who witness a violation should report it immediately to the Human Relations Office. The identity of those who report a violation will be kept anonymous. The consequences. Employees who violate the Code of Conduct and Integrity Policy for Virtual Business will first be issued a warning. Repeated violations will result in formal documentation, possible demotion, and dismissal. More serious violations could result in immediate demotion or dismissal. QBOBCATS Industries will maximize the return on its investment in virtual reality by creating responsible virtual citizens. These ethical considerations ensure that employees don't treat their online lives differently than they would while working in a traditional office environment. Qualities such as respect and integrity are as important in virtual reality as they are in real life. Thank you for your time. If you have personal questions and concerns about the Code of Conduct and Integrity Policy for Virtual Business, please contact me in the Human Relations Office at 555-BCAT. For more general questions that others in the company might benefit from, please contact me on Twitter using my handle @SDCreativity.